All right. Get the popcorn, get a drink, go to the bathroom, get ready. This one's going to take a little bit of time. I can't break it up that much. Quadratic equation. Solve a quadratic equation by completing the square. What are we finding when we're doing this? We are finding the x-intercepts. Don't forget that. We are finding a physical place on a graph where the parabola crosses the x-axis. These are real points on a real graph. Here's our first equation. Let me see if I can zoom in on this a little bit. We want to solve this equation. We want to find where if I graph this, I could plug this into a graphing software, I would get a parabola, and it would have x-intercepts. Where are those x-intercepts? That's what we're looking for. Here we go. All right. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to add spaces to this. W squared minus 16w plus space equals 3 plus space. I added spaces to it. My first step, adding spaces. So far, so good. Here's my next piece. I am now going to complete the square. Okay. Well, in order to complete the square, I take the b term, I cut it in half, and I square it. And I get 64. That is completing the square. That is what you did yesterday, or at least on the last video. That's what I showed you on the last video. I am now going to take that 64 and I'm going to add it to both sides. That's where those spaces came in. W squared minus 16w plus space equals 3 plus space. This is an equation. Imagine a seesaw. If I add 64 pounds to one side, I have to add 64 pounds to the other side to keep it in balance. I'm going to put the 64 right here. I am going to simplify the right side. So let's simplify. This is 3 plus 64. That is 67. I am going to factor the left side. Well, how does this factor? It's a perfect square because I created a perfect square when I added the 64 to it. This factors as w minus 8 squared equals 67. Take plus or minus the square root. I am going to take the square root of both sides of this. You learned that in a different video. What was it, like 2 videos ago? That I can take the square root of both sides. These cancel out. I now have w minus 8 equals plus or minus the square root of 67. Now the square root of 67 hundredth is, let's find out what the square root of 67 is. 67, oh, square root of 67. That's 8.185, and the instructions want us to round it to the nearest hundredth, so that would be 8.19. 8.19. We are now going to move this constant term, the -8, to the other side of the equation. So I'm going to take this piece of it and put it right there. That's going to give me W equals 8. It became a negative. The negative turned into a positive when it jumped over the equal sign, plus or minus 8.19. I'm going to split it into a positive component and a negative component, and I'm going to simplify. 8 plus 8.19, 8 minus 8.19. This becomes 16.19, and this becomes negative 0.19. Those are your two solutions. These are the x-intercepts of this parabola. It's where the parabola crosses the x-axis. It crosses at negative 0.19 and at positive 16.19. Okay, I told you, man, this is a big one. Let's do it again. We're going to solve by completing the square. This one looks slightly different from the last one. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to move the c term. See that 17, negative 17? It needs to be on the other side. I have d squared minus 8d equals 17. That's where I want to start it. Add spaces. D squared minus 8d plus space equals 17 plus space. Complete the square. Okay, complete the square. 8. Cut it in half is 4, squared is 16. Just completed the square. Add that to both sides. That's what that square is all about, or the spaces. That's why I put those spaces there. So I have d squared minus 8d plus space equals 17 plus space. Boom, 16, 16. Simplify the right side. D squared minus 18d plus 16 equals, simplify, 33. Factor. D minus 4 squared equals 33. Take plus or minus the square root. All right. D minus 4 equals whatever this is. Okay? Square root of 33. 5.744, so we're going with 5.74. Move the constant term. That's good. The negative 4 became a positive 4 on the other side. Split it and simplify. This is 4 plus or minus, 4 plus 5.74, 4 minus 5.74. This is 9.74, negative 1.74. Is that right on that 4? Or did I just totally mess that up? 4 minus 5.74, negative, okay, that's right. I don't know why I just lost it there. Okay. I'm very confused. All right, that's it for that one. Split and simplify. I know that's a 9-minute video. I know that one is long, but the last one was really short, so on average, these were like 6-7 minutes. We're going to spend a lot of time on this in class, and the next one also. But we need to be able to find those two solutions to this, because those two solutions model real-world stuff. Projectile motion, things falling through space. These are times sometimes, like how long is something in the air. These are magical numbers. We need these. That's it. Bye-bye. 10 minutes!